A wildlife rehabilitation center released some of its recovered birds during the spring. After 35% of the birds were released, 156 birds remain at the center. How many recovered birds were at the center before the release? So what we can take up from this information is 35% of the birds were released. So this means that 65% remain at the park, right? This means that 65% remained. Now, if we let X be the total number of the birds at the center before the release, so it means that 65% of that total number of birds were 156, right? 65% of those total number of birds at the center before the release were 156. So it means that 0.65 times X is equal to 156. So this means that we divide both sides by 0.65. We have X equal to 156 all over 0.65, which is equal to 240. So those were the total number of birds at the center before the release, 240, right? And the answer is going to be C. A mobile health unit can safely carry no more than 1,450 pounds of equipment. The unit already contains 730 pounds of permanent equipment. Each portable examination station weighs 90 pounds. What is the greatest number of examination stations that can be added without exceeding the limit? Right? So we already have maximum capacity is equal to 1,450, right? Already equipped with what? 730 pounds. Capacity left is going to be 1,450 minus 730, which is equal to the 1,450 minus 730. So it's going to be equal to 720. So that is the capacity left. Now, each station weighs 90 pounds. It means that the number of stations this can take will be what? Will be equal to 720 divided by 90, which is equal to 8. So this station can no longer take more than 8 stations, right? So the answer is going to be B. A pharmaceutical shipment must remain at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or colder during transportation. A temperature sensor displays only degrees Celsius. Using this formula, so that is the conversion formula from Celsius to Fahrenheit, which Celsius temperature corresponds to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. So C is going to be equal to 5 over 9 into 41 degrees Fahrenheit minus 32, right? So this is going to be equal to 5 over 9 into 41 minus 32 is 9. So 9 strikes, 9 cancel out, and we are left with what? C equal to 5 degrees Celsius. So the answer is going to be A. A museum is replacing the glass on a triangular display case. The panel has a base of 7.5 feet and a perpendicular height of 4.8 feet. Replacing glass costs $14 per square foot. what is the cost of the glass needed for the panel, right? So we've seen that the conversion rate here is in what? Square foot. And square foot is the unit for area. Therefore means that we should be looking for the area of this triangular glass panel. So the area is going to be half base times height. So which is equal to half base, which is 7.5, times the height, which is what? 4.8. So this is equal to 7.5 times 4.8 divided by 2. So this is going to give us 18 square foot. But now 1 foot is $14. 1 foot is $14. Therefore means that the cost is going to be 18 times $14, which will give us $252. $252, which the answer is A, right? 4 laboratory machines process samples at different rates. So we have machine A, machine B, machine C, and then we have the sample processed, and then we have the time. They say, which machine processes samples at the greatest hourly rate, right? So all we need to do is calculate the hourly rate of these machines. So the hourly rate, so it's going to be samples per hourly rate. So here we have 168 over 6 over 6 is going to give us 28 samples per hour. And then here we're going to have 195 all over 5 is going to give us 39 samples per hour. And then we have 224 over 7, which will give us 32 samples per hour. And then we have 252 all over 9, which will give us 28 samples per hour. So we see that the greatest sample per hourly rate is going to be machine B. So the answer is going to be machine B with a 39 sample per hourly rate, right? Greater than all of those. So the answer is going to be machine B. A food testing laboratory considers a storage cabinet acceptable only if the difference between its highest and lowest recorded temperatures does not exceed 6 degrees Celsius. The temperatures recorded during one inspection were, so we have 3, 7, 5, 8, 4 degrees Celsius. What is the difference between the highest and the lowest temperatures? So the highest temperature, TH, is going to be equal to, so looking at that, we have 8 degrees Celsius. The lowest temperature, TL, is going to be, so 3 degrees Celsius, looking at that. So the difference, TH minus TL, is going to be 8 minus 3, which is equal to 5 degrees Celsius. And the answer is going to be C, right? A music store marks a keyboard down by 20%. So that is a discount. The sale price is now $544. What was the keyboard price before the discount, right? So now, if we have a discount of what? 20%. It means that buyer pays 100 minus 20, which is 80%. A buyer will pay 80%. Now, this selling price, which is what? 80% of the total cost or the original cost, is 544, right? Now, therefore means that 80% times the cost, we can say the cost is C. So therefore means that it will be 0.80 C is equal to 544, right? So if you want to do that multiplication, so 80% is obviously 80 over 100, which is 0.80 times C equal to 544. So therefore means that C is equal to 544 divided by 0.80, which is equal to 680. So the original cost was 680, which is B. A rectangular water reservoir measures 2.5 meters long, 1.8 meters wide, and 1.2 meters deep. The reservoir is filled completely. If 1 cubic meter is equal to 1,000 liters, approximately how many liters of water does the reservoir contain? Right? Look at our conversion rate. It states that 1 cubic meter. 1 cubic meter is the unit for volume, right? So we need to calculate the volume of this reservoir, which is length times width times height, which is equal to 2.5 times 1.8 times 1.2. This is going to give us 2.5 times 1.8 times 1.2, I guess 5.4. Yeah, 5.4. So it's going to be 5.4 cubic meter, right? And now we know that 1 cubic meter is 1,000 liters. Therefore means that the reservoir contains 5.4 times 1,000 liters. So which is equal to 5,400 liters. So the answer is gonna be C, right? Yeah, the reservoir contains that. A researcher records the following response times in seconds. So we have 12.4, 12.7, 12.5, 9.8, 12.6, 12.3. Before summarizing the data, the researcher identifies the value that is unusually far from the rest of the observations. Which value should be identified? So this value is called outlier in mathematics. The outlier. Outlier is significantly too small or too large, right? That is what an outlier is. It's far from the rest of the data points, either by being too small or being too large, right? Now, let's look at this. You see that these data points, most of the data points at least, around 12.4 and 12.5. Most of the data points are around that, right? And you see that 19.8 is significantly large. It's significantly far from the rest of the observation, right? Therefore means that 19.8 is the outlier, right? And the answer is going to be D. 19.8 is the correct answer, right? Which is significantly far from the other observations. A computer control mixing system uses the following equation during calibration. So we have that long equation. What value of x satisfy the calibration? So we are going to do distribution, and then we bring like terms together and then isolate x, right? Now, let's distribute 4 in the first in the first parenthesis, let's distribute 4. We need to distribute 4 here, 4 there, distribute 3 there, and 3 there. So therefore means that we have 4 times 2x minus 3 times 4, or 4 times 3, minus 7, which is equal to 3 times x plus 3 times 5 plus 11. Now let's go ahead and simplify that. So 4 times 2 is going to be 8x. 3 times 4 is going to be minus 12, minus 7, which is equal to 3 times x is 3x, plus 3 times 5 is 15, plus 11, right? Now let's simplify that further. So we're going to have 8x minus 19, which is equal to 3x plus 26, right? Now we need to subtract, 30x from both sides of this equation, and then add 19 to both sides of the equation, right? So we are eliminating 19 from the left hand side and eliminating 3x from the right hand side. Now this is gonna give us 8x minus 3x. 8x minus 3x is gonna give us 5x. Negative 19 plus 19 is of course is 0. 3x minus 3x is 0. 26 plus 19 is gonna give us 45. And we divide both sides by 5. This means that x is equal to 9. And the value of x that satisfies the calibration equation is going to be C, 9.